thinks that he needs explanation from some official of the organization regarding a certain matter, or he thinks that the item is very important one and that should be discussed in detail in due course, or there is a material item which is very much important one which he will need when he will submit the audit report, or he finds any discrepancy while he will conduct audit work. He notes all these matters in a notebook or diary book, and that is a very document. Important document because it is not possible for the auditor to remember every item uh, where there are some problems, and to uh, take a note of all these items at the end of the audit work. At the end of the audit work, he writes the report, and while he will write the report, obviously we will follow that very what he prepared during the course of the audit work. This is important. This is the importance of the audit notebook. Now, see, in the audit notebook, what are the main items? What are the things are normally entered that I'll discuss. Now, see, uh, during the course of the audit, if there is any missing voucher, if there is any missing voucher, auditor immediately notes it in the audit note. If there is any error or if there is any fraud, what he has observed, immediately he notes it in the audit notebook. If there is any item which he has failed to understand and which needs further explanation, means he wants an inquiry, he notes it in the audit notebook. Any kind of technical term which is used in the business, he notes it in the audit notebook. The extract of memorandum of association means the memorandum of association actually gives the details about the company's structure and company's management. Now, in brief, very brief, he makes a note of that very memorandum in the audit notebook. Articles of association actually it gives some matter of internal management of the company, and that in very brief he makes a note in the audit notebook, because all these things will help him to conduct the audit work. Not only that, if there is any problem or inconsistency in accounting methods the organization has adopted, he immediately notes it in the audit notebook. Any kind of correspondence with a banker or debtor or creditor, in very brief, or their extracts are noted in the audit notebook. These are the main items normally in the audit notebook are recorded, and at the end of the audit work, with the help of the audit notebook, auditor prepares the audit report. Audit report is the final part of the auditing, and that audit report is given to the persons or to the authority who has appointed him. In case of shareholders, in case of company type of organization, that the shareholders appoint the auditors. So he writes the report to the shareholders. This is the purpose of the audit notebook. Audit notebook is very much important item. Now see, after the audit notebook, now we will discuss about the audit working papers. So what is audit working papers? Now see, audit working papers, it is nothing but some summation of some documents or some total of some documents which the auditor uh, has observed or has kept for a daily reference purpose in his hand. And that very audit working papers are also very much helpful while we write the audit report, audit working papers. Now I'm giving some examples of audit working papers. Now see, audit working papers, see, while auditor is conducting the audit work, while he will examine the balance sheet, just to observe in the balance sheet, it is given sundry debtors, it is given sundry creditors, it is given closing stock value, this and this amount, like this. Bad debt, this is the amount, like this. Now see, these are the items which are very much critical items. Say, sundry debtors. Sum debtors means sum total of all debtors, all individual debtors. Now the sum total of individual debtors, it is given total 5 lakhs. Now how auditor will examine these sundry debtors actually? So auditor prepares a document, that's why, and that is called actually audit working paper. What is that? Auditor will prepare a debtors list. A debtors list. A debtors list means in that very debtors list, all the debtors name will be there and how much actually they are indebted to this company individually, that will be recorded. The Mr. X this and this amount, Mr. Y this and this amount, Mr. Z this and this amount, like this. Auditor prepares this debtors list. This will debtors list, you can consider, you can say it is a audit working paper. Now see the creditors, sundry creditors. Sundry creditors, it is a factor, sundry creditors, sum total of all creditors. So auditors should know what are the names of the creditors and whether actually they are the creditors or not. That's why auditor uh, gets the names of that creditors and he prepares a list. While auditor prepares a list, that very list itself is called your audit working paper. So I can give the example like this: the debtors list is an audit working paper. Creditors list is an audit working paper. Next, now see, while the auditor will conduct the audit work, he will need the past year's audit report, and that past year's audit report itself is called a audit working paper. Means he will always have in his hand the past year's auditor's report. That always will he will have in his hand, because in the past year or last year what auditor suggested, that is very important one, and whether that very suggestions have been followed by the company or not. That's why auditor always keeps the last year's audit report or past year's audit report. And that very audit report, past year's audit report, is called audit working paper. Another example I am giving of audit working paper. Now see, regarding bad debt. Regarding bad debt, auditor prepares a audit working paper. Who are the debtors? Those have failed to pay their debt. Auditor prepares a list of their very defaulters. Means the debtors who have failed to pay money. He prepares a list. That is very important one, because bad debt means actually it is a loss of the company and it reduces the profit of the company. So auditor prepares a bad debt. Bad means debtors. Those are defaulters. Means those have become bad debts. He prepares a list actually. After that, see another example I am giving. What is the audit working paper? Say the bank reconciliation statement. The auditor prepares it. In the cash book, he finds one balance. In the passbook, he can find another balance. So there are two different balances, suppose. In that case, auditor prepares a bank reconciliation statement, and whether it agrees or not, auditor finds it. And that is called also a audit working paper. Another example I am giving now, see, uh, list of investment. List of investment means in the balance sheet, you see there is given investment, and the investment details are necessary. Where the company has invested money in details, investment in a bank maybe, investment in a other in a company maybe, means another company maybe, investment in any LIC organization maybe. Like this, he prepares a list of investment, and that list of investment is important audit working paper. Now, regarding the closing stock also, it is said in the balance sheet that sorry, this is the value of closing stock, or P&L account, this is the value of closing stock. Now, regarding closing stock, actually, it is sum total of all value of the stock items. So he prepares a list that these are the items that are lying as a closing stock, and he also gets a certificate from the management regarding the value of the closing stock. Because actually auditor has nothing to do regarding the value of the closing stock. Whatever the management gives a certificate regarding the value of the closing stock, and that is accepted by the auditor. This is the practice. Not only practice, this is the judgment of an important case also. That I told you in the previous class. Today again I will discuss. So, however, auditor prepares a list of closing stock items, and that very list of closing stock items is called also a audit working paper. And also, auditor gets a certificate from the management regarding value of the closing stock, and that certificate is also called, or also can be treated as a audit working paper. Now, see, any kind of correspondence what the auditor has made with the outsiders. Say the auditor is not satisfied with the item of the data. He has certain doubt. So auditor will actually, in that case, make on communication with that very data for confirmation. Auditor may have some doubt about the bank balance, balance which appear in the cash book, passbook. Auditor is not satisfied, or the auditor has certain doubt. So auditor will make an inquiry with the bank whether this is correct or not. So this is also audit working papers. Now see, these are some examples of audit working papers. The list is not ended here, but there are some common audit working papers which auditor must have in his hand while we conduct the audit work. Means debtors list, creditors list, uh, last year's audit report, uh, list of debtors those have failed to pay their debt, bank reconciliation statement, any statement regarding closing stock, list of investment what the company has made with other organizations, any communication which the auditor has made with a bank maybe, or in debtor maybe, or any kind of document the auditor thinks appropriate, and he keeps in his hand, and that very document is actually audit working papers. It's very simple that while an auditor will visit the organization, auditor has to prepare or has to collect all these working papers. Uh, um, uh, Otherwise, he is unable to conduct the audit work. So these are called the audit working papers. Now I will come here regarding that very closing stock valuation. Now closing stock actually see it is valued at market price or cost price, whichever is lower, we know it. But regarding that very closing stock, there was a case, and that case is very important case, and that case actually is concerned with Kingston Cotton Mill case. In that very Kingston Cotton Mill case, what happened? Stock was overvalued, and since stock was overvalued, obviously profit also was inflated. Means profit was shown more, obviously, and from that very inflated profit, dividend was paid, and ultimately there was a case against the auditor. That auditor has not seen properly the accounts, and how auditor certified that accounts are showing true and fair view. This was the case because payment of dividend was made from the inflated profit. The profit was not actual profit; it was just inflated one, not actual profit. And the auditor should be held liable for this. This was the case actually. And in that very Kingston Cotton Mill case, there are two judges. One judge was Justice Lopes, another judge was Justice Lindsley. That very two judges actually gave the judgment like this, that auditor could not be held liable for valuation of closing stock. Auditor is not supposed to take stock. Auditor will accept the certificate which is issued by the management for the valuation of closing stock. And that is all the auditor's duty. It is not the auditor's duty to value the closing stock because auditor is not an expert in valuation of closing stock. Auditor is an accountant. He knows everything about accountancy, but it is difficult for the auditor to understand the nature of the items of the stock. If it is a case of engineering stock item, how auditor will value that very engineering stock items? It cannot be done. It is not possible for him. So auditor actually was not held guilty for this report, means for the report what he submitted. This was the judgment. And in that very judgment, auditor, that very judges observed that auditor is an watchdog, not a bloodhound dog. This was the judgment. Auditor was compared with a watchdog. Watchdog. Auditor is compared with watchdog because it is the auditor's duty to see whether the money of the organization is appropriately used or not, whether there is any misuse of money or not. Misuse of money means it is the shareholders' money, and that the directors are using that very money, whether that money is properly utilized or not. And if it is not properly utilized, obviously auditor will take it in the notice of the shareholders because owners of the company is the shareholders. The shareholders are the actual owners, not the directors. They are not the owners. They are actually part of the management of the company. So auditor's duty is to give a notice, is to bring in the notice of the shareholders if there is any misuse of the fund. If there is any misuse of the fund, that means actually it is as like a watchdog. Watchdog actually it is observed that watchdog barks whenever any unknown person visits his lord's house, and he actually gives a caution to the lord, to the owner of the house, that some unknown person has come. You see whether that person is right person or not, whether he has come to steal the property of the owner or not. That's why the watchdog always warns the owner of the house. This is the function of watchdog. Auditor is considered as an watchdog. He is a representative of the shareholders, and the shareholders have full trust on the auditor. And auditor will give a report to the shareholders. That's why whether accounts are showing true and fair affairs of the organization. It is the duty of the auditors. If there is any discrepancy, obviously he will take it in the notice of the shareholders. So auditor is an watchdog. Another part of that very judgment, it is said that auditor is not a bloodhound dog. Bloodhound dog. Auditor is not a bloodhound dog. Why? Bloodhound dog means actually this is a CID dog. CID dog means you'll observe that sometimes if there is a crime, CID officers are taking dogs to find out the criminal. To find out that very place where the crime has taken place and who are the criminals and what path they left. Uh, they take the help of actually criminal investigating dog. Auditor is not considered as criminal investigating dog. Why? Because you see, the very basic point of the criminal investigating dog is that criminal investigating dog, or you can say we say bloodhound dog. Actually, they think that some crime has taken place, and he has come to find out the place of crime and to find out the path from which criminals left, or to find out the criminals from crowded persons like this. This is the duty of the investigating dog, means criminal investigating dog or the bloodhound dog. So is it the duty of the auditor to find out the crime? No, it is not the duty of the auditor to find out the crime. And there is no chance, there is no scope to believe that some crime has taken place, means some fraud has taken place in the organization, and to find out that very fraud, the auditor has been appointed. No, auditor has not been appointed to find out fraud. It is not the purpose of appointment auditor. Auditor has been appointed to examine the partner's account and balance sheet and to give a report on the PL account and balance sheet. This is the purpose. Whether this balance sheet and PL account are showing true and fair affairs of the organization. He has not been appointed to find out the fraud. No, it is not the duty. So he cannot be compared with the criminal investigating dog. An auditor will not think, never think. Now, whenever he will start audit, that some fraud has taken place, and I will search, or he will search to find out that very fraud and who has made the fraud. No, he never think it in his mind. But during the course of his audit work, if he finds a new fraud, then obviously he will note it, and he will take it in the notice of the shareholders. In that case only. But it is not the purpose of the auditor. He will never think beforehand and that for finding out fraud, he has been appointed. What is done in case of that very criminal investigating dog, or you can say bloodhound dog? Their very purpose is to find out the crime, to find out the criminal, or why the crime has taken place. Their very purpose is that, but auditor's purpose is not that. So that's why it was the very important judgment that was given in that very case, Kingston Cotton Mill case, and that case was led by two judges. One is Justice Lowes and Justice Linley, and they observed that auditor is an watchdog and not a bloodhound dog. And that question often comes in the examination: why auditor is called a watchdog, not a bloodhound dog? And this is the answer actually. Paras, you understood what I have tried to say regarding watchdog and bloodhound. And that's all. This part is over. Now, see, in the next part, I will come after audit notebook, audit working papers. I will come to the point of audit file. Now, see, what is audit file actually? Audit file means actually auditor TPS two files. One file is called permanent file, another file is called temporary file. Temporary file, or you can say the current file. So, what is the purpose of permanent file and what is the purpose of current file? Permanent file means a file which is permanent in nature. Means actually there are some documents will be kept. Means some documents will be kept in that very file, and that documents are actually permanent in nature. That documents are permanent in nature, and it will not come frequently in his hand, or actually it is not to be changed like this. So what are the very permanent documents of the company? Actually, there are two permanent documents of the company. One document is called Memorandum of Association, and another document is called Articles of Association. Memorandum of Association is a document actually which gives very primary idea about the company. Means where the company's office is situated, where the company's head office is situated, who are the directors of the company, what are their qualifications, how many shares they have purchased, what are the main products of the company, and what is the main object of the company. These are the some basic things which are written in the Memorandum of Association. Every company must prepare, and that is called Memorandum of Association. And in that memorandum, these are the items or these are the information that are available. And that memorandum of association is very important document, and it is permanent in nature. An auditor keeps it in a file. That file is called permanent file. So permanent file will contain that very memorandum of association. Another document will be kept in that very permanent file, that is articles of association. Means regarding company's management part, how company will be managed, means how many meetings will be conducted during the year, how employees will be appointed, how pension will be settled. All the things are written in the articles of association. Terms and conditions of the employment, all are given in the articles of association. This is also considered as a permanent document, and that permanent document is kept in the audit file, and that audit file is called actually permanent file. Uh, these are the main two documents that are kept in the permanent audit file. Apart from this permanent audit file, auditor can maintain a current file, or you can say temporary file, that is called temporary audit file. What is the temporary audit file? Temporary audit file, in a temporary audit file, auditor will keep some important documents also. What are the important documents? Say, auditor's appointment letter. What the auditor has got the appointment from the organization, there is a letter, and that letter is called appointment letter. That will be kept in the temporary audit file or current audit file. And say the current year's balance sheet, current year's profit and loss account, that will be kept in the current file or temporary audit file. Any kind of communication what the auditor will have with outsiders, means outside organizations or outsiders, auditor will keep it in the file. That file is called current audit file or temporary audit file. Like this, any kind of, you can say, documents which will recur again and again, that type of documents are actually kept in the current file or temporary audit file. So these are the two files that auditor must maintain while will conduct the audit work. These are very important documents. So during the conduct of audit work, these are the important items like audit notebook, audit file, audit working papers. These are very important very important ones. After that, I will discuss that very another item. I will come to that point that is called audit memorandum. Audit memorandum, you see, is another kind of document which is also prepared by the auditor. Audit memorandum. Audit memorandum, you see, actually this audit memorandum is prepared to have some common idea about the company, and that is written in a sheet of paper, and that very sheet of paper contains that very company's client and company's other factories where are situated. Means that a company may have different plants or different actually factories in different places. So that will be noted in a sheet of paper, and that sheet of paper is called a part of audit memorandum. Now, see, company procures raw materials from different areas, so it will be noted in that very sheet of paper. The company collects raw materials from this and these organizations, like this. He will make a note. Now, see, company normally where a company sells the goods, it will be noted in that very sheet of paper. The normally company sells its products to this and these areas, like this. It will noted like this. Companies different officers are there. Means companies having different officers. What are the functions of that very officers? That will noted in that very sheet. uh, like this, you say some basic information about that very company actually, that are noted in a sheet of paper, and that sheet of paper is called actually nothing else, audit memorandum. Now this audit memorandum is also one kind of document which auditor prepares during the course of his audit work. uh, this is the part regarding audit notebook, audit file, audit working papers. That's all. The next part I will come. Uh, regarding the item, two areas I'll discuss regarding internal checking and internal auditing. This is another part. Now see, while he'll conduct the audit work, there are two things. One is called internal checking and another is internal auditing. And internal checking and internal auditing, these are the two things which are actually parts of internal control system. Means auditor will see how the company is having internal control system. In that very internal control system, there are two types of control system. One is called administrative control system, another is called accounting control system. White is not much concerned about the administrative control system, but he is concerned about the internal control system. Sorry, accounting control system. Accounting control system will have two parts. One part is called internal checking system, another part is called internal auditing system. Now see what is internal checking system. Internal checking system is a system where where it is an arrangement made so that once uh, uh, once entry or one's function or one's job is automatically checked by another person. Means one's work is automatically checked by a second person, by another person. That is called internal checking system. Means actually one job or one work cannot be completed by a single person. One work or one job is to be completed by more than one person, so that there is chance of less mistake or less fraud, and so that fraud or mistake can be prevented or can be avoided. And that very system actually prevails mainly in the financial organization where a lot of cash transactions are done to avoid the mistake or to avoid the fraud, and that very system is prevailing in their very financial organizations mainly. Say in a bank, whenever a person withdraws money, immediately that is checked by more than one person. The person who is paying the cash is simply a clerk, a cash clerk who is paying the cash. But immediately after payment of the cash, the second person, I means the officer, cash officer, he is checking it whether arithmetically it's correct or not, whether there is any fraud or not. He is checking it. After even the cash officer, there is another person who is called ledger officer or ledger clerk who is making entry in the ledger book, and in the ledger book actually there will be one debit, there will be another credit. So when both the debit and credit are tallied, then only it is confirmed that the transaction has taken place rightly. So for every payment there is one debit, another credit. For every receipts also there will be one debit, another credit, and that very one debit, one credit should be equal, and that's why there is checking system by more than one person. When it is checked by more than one person, that system is called actually internal checking system. It is very common that whenever a student says that I have done sir all the items in the exam, but I have got only 80. I should have got 100. I should have got 98 like this. A student can say like this because in his eye the error is not detected. Means it is very difficult for him to detect where he has committed mistake. That's why there is second person. Second person means an examiner. Examiner is checking that very items and that very questions and that very answers. And examiner will see where mistake is done actually, where mistake is committed. So that is called actually internal checking system like this. Means the person who has written the exam, he cannot be asked to examine that very answer. No. And second person is the second person will check it whether it's correct or not. And in his eye, that very error will be detected, and this is the purpose of actually internal checking system. It is done is even you visit any sales department of any big shop, you'll find that after buying that very garment, it is not given hand to hand from the counter. You have to deposit cash in another counter. You have to get a slip it, and you have to go to another counter, which is a delivery counter, to get the delivery item, means say garment, say garment. So actually, in counter, you have chosen what garment want, and you have chosen it. So what? And then you are going to cash counter direct, directly, and you are getting a cash slip, and you are going to delivery counter to get the garment, not in that very counter where you have chosen it. No, on the counter actually it will go to the delivery department, and from delivery event you will get the get the goods. Uh, in between there is cash officer who is checking it whether cash is or not. But one person is not delivering the goods, and that person is not getting the cash. No, no, not the system. In that case, there may be fraud, there may be chance of error like this. So it is not done. So three counters are there. You have to visit these three counters to get your goods. This is called internal checking system. You visit any big shop, you'll find in garment shop, these three counters are there. Then only you'll get the goods. Not single counter. It will not help. It is an internal checking system. In banking, same thing. Nowadays it is completely system, but we have seen in other years that maybe 10 years, that one person is giving a token, we're waiting for a token, we're waiting, they're calling, and that very check is checked by 2 3 persons, then they're paying cash, and so many harassment. That means actually this is the part of internal checking system. More than one person will be there to check a transaction. uh, that's called internal checking system. Now come internal auditing system. This internal auditing system, if it is a case of if there is internal auditing system, and if it is a strong one, then actually it makes the auditor to do the audit work smoothly. Because if there is strong internal auditing system, then what happens throughout the year, the every transaction, what is written in the books to account, that is checked by the internal auditor. An internal auditor is a person actually who is appointed by the management, and the management itself pays his remuneration. He has no connection with outsiders. He is appointed to check only the accounts whenever something written in the accounts book. Throughout the year, he's working. He's checking the accounts, means debit and credit correct or not. Summation means totaling is correct or not. Uh, from journal book to ledger book is taken, is correct or not. Throughout the year, he's checking the accounts throughout the year, and this is mainly done for the financial organization where there are a lot of financial transactions. Because one mistake, if it is committed, it will have mass effect. That's why actually they have the internal checking system as per internal auditing system. More and more internal auditing system will be there. Actually, there will be less chance of error or less chance of fraud. So internal auditing system is a system where management appoints its own auditor, and that very auditor is paid by the management, and that very auditor checks the accounts throughout the year, and that very auditor can help the external auditor while the external auditor will visit the organization. External auditor actually visits the organization after getting his appointment, after closing of the accounts. Say up to month of December, all the balance sheet and all the PL account have been completed, and that are already checked by the internal auditors. Then external auditor who has been appointed at the annual general meeting of the shareholders, he has come to examine. So actually, when he will come again, then the internal auditor who already has checked, he can help him. He can provide some information about different accounts books, uh, or anything, any explanation he can provide to the external auditor. And that external auditor actually is called a statutory auditor. Statutory auditor means auditor who is appointed under a statute. Statute means law. So auditor who is appointed by the shareholders in the annual general meeting of the shareholders, he is called a statutory auditor. Means he is appointed as per statute, as per law of the country. Which law? Law means actually there is an act. Act is always law. Act. If there is no act, no law. Act means if there is Companies Act. Companies Act 2013, we say. Previously, it was Companies Act 1956. Now it is Companies Act 2013. So, Companies Act means actually that very act has been passed in the Parliament of India. Then only it has become an act. Without passing that very act in the Parliament, it does not become an act. So, as per law, as per act, when an auditor is appointed, we say he is a statutory auditor. In case of company type organization, there must be statutory auditor. Means he must be appointed as per that very Companies Act 2013. Means how he will be appointed, what will be his qualification, that are clearly written there. But in case of other auditor, you say auditor of a government department, auditor of a sole proprietorship firm, or auditor of a partnership firm, there is no specification mentioned. No, nothing is there. Means it depends on the partners how they will appoint auditor, whether they will appoint chartered accountant or whether they will appoint any other person to check the accounts. That is their matter. How they will single man business, sole proprietorship business. How he'll appoint auditor, it is his own matter. Government, how government will appoint, it is their own matter. There is no compulsion, there is no rule that government will appoint a chartered accountant to conduct the to the auditor of the government accounts. No, there is no such rule because government audit is not under Indian Companies Act 2013, but company audit is under the Companies Act 2013. That's why government auditor is not a statutory auditor. Partnership firms auditor, not a statutory auditor. Auditor of that is a sole proprietorship firm, he is not a statutory auditor, but in the company, it is called statutory auditor. That's why we have divided actually the auditor in the two divisions. One is called statutory auditor, and is called non-statutory auditor. So, what kind of auditor here in the partnership firm? He is non-statutory auditor. Government auditor, non-statutory auditor. One man business, non-statutory auditor. Company, statutory auditor. This is the difference between statutory auditor and non-statutory auditor. This is very important one. Try to remember it. Though time is over today. However, we'll stop it. We'll stop today. Next day again we'll proceed after this part of that very internal auditing and internal checking system. There are other things also we will discuss in the next class. Today there was some problem, means some net problem maybe or mechanical problem. The, that's why uh, I failed to enter in the class. I was trying hard. However, lastly I managed it. I thank all of you, my students, my beloved students. Next day again I will meet you. Okay, at 1 o'clock. Again I will try in the next day. I thank all of you. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.